Hi there and welcome back to Woodruff Woods. Today I'm going to be doing an install on the brand new third function kit from John Deere for my 2032R tractor. This instructional video will be exactly the same for a 2038R. My particular tractor does have a Power Beyond unit, which I installed for a backhoe. And one thing that I want you to know is that the kit does vary based on what you already have installed on your tractor. So for example, if you have a Power Beyond or you have rear outlets for your hydraulic system, you're going to need to alter the installation. Now, I've looked at the instructions. I feel as though they are very good. They do describe exactly where you need to use different parts. The parts seem to be marked appropriately. So, as I get through this, I'll certainly try to point out when I'm doing something that is not relative to a standard tractor or where I'm doing something specific to my Power Beyond. So I'm going to take you over here. I'm going to show you what this kit looks like. Hopefully it'll be helpful to you. I know many of you have tried installing the Artillion kit or the WR Long. I think Summit Hydraulics has a kit similar to this. So I'm going to turn you around and show you what's in the box. And so this is what came in the box, and that's a lot of parts. So you're going to see there's a bunch of different lines here. I suspect not all of these will be used. As a matter of fact, this one that I have pulled up out of here, this one, is, I believe, the one that's used for the Power Beyond. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to take you in real close here. And it says loader PBY. I have to think that that's Power Beyond. So I'm thinking that those parts are for that. So, you'll see that you're going to have new mounting hardware here. That is the bracket that holds the hydraulic connectors for your front end loader. You'll have a new joystick. There is a solenoid in here that needs to be installed. So I do anticipate this to be a very involved installation. I have no idea how long this is going to take me, but it's Sunday. It's rainy outside. Not much I can do, so I figured I'd get into this. So one of the things I've done to prepare for this installation is I've removed my backhoe completely, and I've removed the front bucket from my loader. The reason I did that is I know that I'm going to be running lines to the front of the loader, and I figured it would be more accessible if I didn't have the bucket in the way, and I really didn't want to horse that bucket around if I needed to remove it later. So the front end loader arms are still on there, but I have removed the bucket and the backhoe. Just to give you an idea of price on this, I know some of those other kits are $600-700 roughly, from Artillion, WR Long. This kit's over $1,000. So I know prices vary. Depending on where you are in the country, and even from John Deere dealer to John Deere dealer. I doubt you'll find much of a better price on this because it is brand new. For those of us that bought our tractors prior to this year, this was not an option for us. And that's why so many people looked for alternatives. Now I understand that you can order a tractor with this already installed from the factory. But this was something that was important to me. I want to run a grapple. So I run a small firewood business, and grapple's very handy for that type of work. So I clearly wanted the grapple, and frankly, I wanted the John Deere version. If you look at the Artillion one, it's a diverter. So when you are clamping, you can't curl and clamp at the same time. I believe with the WR Long one you can. I don't know that, but I'm pretty sure you can because that's tapping into the Power Beyond unit. And with this one you'll be able to do the two functions at once as well because it is drawing right from the hydraulic system of the tractor. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you along on this installation. I'll try to show you step by step. Hopefully it'll help someone out there that may be trying to do the same installation at home. I'm understanding that the dealers are charging over $1,000 for installation. So my rainy Sunday, I'm looking at it as saving me some money. So I'm going to get started here. I probably won't even show you the first part. There's plenty of videos out there on how to remove the rear wheel and the housing on the inside to get access to the hydraulic lines. But I'll probably pick up right after that. That's pretty simple stuff. So anyway, you know, down in the comments, let me know if this is helpful to you. Certainly try to answer any questions you have. And by all means, if you like what I'm doing here, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, certainly consider subscribing. Thank you so much. And we'll get started here in just a few minutes. Okay, so I have removed the tire, which I have over here. I mentioned this in another video, but using one of those little furniture movers that you can get at Harbor Freight with the little casters on them, boy, does that make things much easier in getting the tire back on, especially if you're working alone. So just a quick tip for you on that. But I've also removed up in here, and I'm sorry about that lighting there. I've removed the inner wheel housing, wheel well of the tractor, so I can get access to these lines, which will be used in this installation. The first part of the installation is going to be to remove these. For some of you, this may look different if you have the, I don't know what they call it, but the quick attach for the front end loader. But basically we're going to take these off. There is a snap ring on the back side of these, and I'll be taking that snap ring off and removing each one of those. One other thing I failed to mention is you have to remove your connectors just as though you were taking off the loader. One of the things I want to call your attention to is make sure that you move your joystick in a bunch of different directions to relieve any of the hydraulic pressure, just so that when you're working with these, or you're working back by the Power Beyond, in my case, that all the pressure is relieved from the system. It'll make disconnecting and connecting these much more simple. So am I the only one that hates dealing with snap rings? Anyway, I've loosened this top one. I just wanted to let you know that this is a 21 millimeter. This is a 19 millimeter. Be sure you do hold this while you try to loosen this. Obviously this does not turn, this does. So, you know, we're loose here. I can just take that out. I'll have to pull that snap ring the rest of the way off. But I got a couple more of these to do. The other thing I wanted to point out is it's probably a good idea to get a good picture of this, just so you know which order these go in. I'm thinking the hard lines will tell us anyway, but it never hurts to take a few pictures just in case you need to reference them later. So you can see now we've gotten all of the quick connectors out of the way. The next step will be to take these two bolts out down in here and remove this entire bracket. We will be replacing that bracket with the one that's in the kit. Okay, the new bracket is installed. I'm just gonna warn you, you have to take those two bolts out I showed in the previous segment and then reuse them. But due to the bend on this side, which if you look at the original was not there, due to this bend, you can't get your hand in there, so you have to do a little bit of a contortionist act. You can kind of see I was using something like this, trying to tighten this right side bolt. The left side I was able to come in from this side with a ratchet wrench and tighten that. But not exactly made easy by Deere on that one. So now I'm going to install the couplers, reinstall the couplers in these holes. Get to work with my favorite, the snap rings again, and then I'll have to check the instructions to see what comes next. So we're back reinstalled with the new bracket. You know, little trick I found. I'm gonna get a light here so you can see. But this way. So I found that if I took the snap ring, put it on that little lip there on the hard line, and then tighten this, and then slid the slip ring on, that seemed to work a little bit better. The other thing I did is underneath here, if you can see, there's two bolts right there that hold these hard lines on. I loosened them a couple of turns, and it just gave me a little bit of play in here, so I made sure that I didn't cross thread any of these connectors onto those lines. So hopefully those two little tips will help you. Okay, so we're back together with all of the loader controls connected back up to the hard lines, which go back to the transmission. We've got the mounting bracket on. We've mounted the selective control valve. These are the 4 longest bolts in the kit, and on the back there are some nuts that you can tighten. These are 13 millimeter. I've also gone back, I've tightened this bracket. I had it a little bit loose so that I could get these couplers installed. And as I mentioned, I went under here, and I'm gonna try to point. I had loosened those 2 bolts there, and I have now tightened those again. So our next step is going to be to install some of the hydraulic couplings. There will be 2 here, I believe 2 here, and I believe 1 on this side. So I'm going to try to sort that out as to which coupler goes where, and then when I get that sorted out, I'll bring you that information as well. So after looking at this in some detail, this particular connector, hopefully you can see that, the two of these in this kit will go on this side in here, and we'll thread those in. Then when these 2 spots are opened up, you will be using this particular connector, and you will be adding a quick connector to each of those. And then over here on this side, you'll be using an elbow fitting, which will sit oriented like so. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll come back to you and show you what that all looks like. And I believe after we're done with that, this selective control valve we don't have to touch for a little bit while longer, and we'll move on up and change our joystick out. So we have our quick connectors installed here. I believe these were 21 millimeter. Going into the SCV, it was 18 if I remember. It might have been 19. This one I believe was 22, and I think this one over here was 18 as well. So, and then I had to install my little label here. The only thing that I found interesting was when I looked at the instructions, which I'm going to just try to get in close here. And if you notice, the orientation of the electrical connection is towards the driver's seat. However, on mine, the orientation is here. Now, I've checked this, and you can rotate it around, but then it's loose. So I'm going to leave it here. The top one is on the same side as the bottom one. So I think the illustration may be just wrong. So I'm going to leave it as is and move on to removing the joystick up above and installing the new joystick.